if you start working out and you haven't been to the gym at all or in a long time, when you first start doing your cardio, running, whatever you do, you're not going to be able to do that for a long period of time because your endurance is low. Yep. But if you continue to go back to the gym or to the track day after day, week after week, you're able to run further, run longer, all that stuff because you built your endurance up. It's the same thing when we're talking about Kegel and not only male but females too, working those muscles. And so one of the ways that we introduce this to our patients is when you urinate, you can control the urination by stopping it.
Oh no, I can't.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can. If you think about it, because again, we if you're not aware of that muscle, this is the way that you become aware of it. You urinate, go stand, do your thing, and then you consciously think of using that muscle to stop it.
To cut it off?
To stop it, yes, to cut it off. It's just like it's no different from your eyebrows. You can raise that eyebrow because you have trained that muscle to raise that eyebrow. It's the same thing.
Think about
give
a sample.
Okay, so I'm asking about no. When I give a sample, and then pull the cup real quick.
You don't do it.
I don't cut it off.
Hold it and then hold it.
No, that's why I don't pee. That's why I don't pee in a bottle.
Oh, y'all learned how to do that?
People like some people like ride down the street with a 20-ounce bottle.
I do that.
And they pee in a bottle, but I don't pee in a bottle because I'm scared I'm gonna overflow it because I don't know how to stop
That was how everybody's taught to do it. Give a sample. You give a little bit, you stop it, and you adjust your cup in there. Do a little bit more, stop again.
I would have come out of the way. I would have come out there and keep going.
I was doing it like you. Exactly.
So I'm thinking Kegel. Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm thinking Kegel for men, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when you can make it jump.
That too.
You can make it
that
move.
too.
I'm thinking is that me doing my Kegel?
That's
exercise?
part of it too.
That is
a part.
It's part of the muscle group.
It's part of that.
Remember, it's not one
Kegel,
specific muscle; it's a group of muscles.
So what's the Kegel exercise? What's something?
That's
you
one.
told me peeing off. You told me cutting off the pee.
Yep, and you just said another one, making it jump.
Making
That's
it
another
move.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also squeezing your butt.
Nah, bro, that's another exercise for somebody else.
No, you can squeeze. You
It's
can
all-
squeeze your butt muscles and cut off the flow.
That ain't a Kegel.
It's all a part of that pelvic floor.
I don't use.
See, like you
No,
said,
you
Rick,
squeeze it
the
tight so
way
it
the
can
way
get
Will
in
is
there.
acting right now
This
is the reason why this seems to be a taboo, not
It
only
is
in
taboo.
our society, in
It's
our
men.
culture,
Right.
but just men in general.
I gotta grow up.
But It's an see, uncomfortable this- conversation.
Yeah.
And this is why I continuously try to have these conversations because these things are problems within our communities. At 40, I don't care what kind of shape you in. Sometimes that thing ain't working.
Things change.
Things change.
You have to adapt, though.
What about your testosterone? How much?
Testosterone?
I know I couldn't even say it right. How much does your testosterone level play into ED?
Big.
Big. Because that's another thing I'm thinking about.
I'm gonna say this,
That's
though.
what I'm thinking about the 20-year-old and the 40-year-old
Right.
because I'm not producing as much anymore.
All right, but I think part of the larger conversation and one of the things that Rick is touching on, because we don't have this conversation enough, we don't recognize the signs.
Yeah.
And then when there is something dysfunctioning, we want to automatically default to, oh, it's low testosterone or it's something grossly going wrong when it could be something as simple as us not exercising our Kegel muscles or not being able to properly identify stress or not being, not exercising properly, not, eating properly.
Eating properly,
The simple things that we could be doing, which could be very well causing these problems.
Okay.
It's
often. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I got a question regarding with like the years and the decades and centuries of medicine. When humans first got here, or at least the modern human that's here, life expectancy was kind of over after a certain point. Mm-hmm. So naturally, the more so sexual health in humans starts around between like 10 to 15 is where it starts. So depending on your lifestyle, it can cut off, like Rick says, for men at 40 or so. Or it can go longer. Like you have men who are like in their 80s still able to produce kids. How would you have the conversations with parents of your teenagers and stuff that are coming into this, that they're trying to help their child understand everything that could possibly go on. Like, if you don't have that conversation, you're gonna have those kids that get up to like in their 20s and all the way till later on in life and have no idea what happens. Like, how do you I guess talk to the parents of the teenagers that could possibly be having those things where they're eating the wrong things, like they're eating all the Takis and the red dye 40s and it's messing them up, or they're stressed out in life because life is hard nowadays. So it's starting earlier, but then if your life expectancy takes you longer, now you got to deal with it even longer.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that my family did was they over talked about sex, and not like in like a really kind of way, but like I remember being 8 and my grandmother sat me down and like drew diagrams of like herpes and syphilis, and she was like, this is that, this is
Scary.
that.
Yeah, what to know, what to look for.
Yeah, but she was a teacher and she was like, my students don't know anything about anything, so I'm not going to let that happen to you. We're going to talk about it every step of the way. And I think that I know it's an uncomfortable conversation. You don't want to think about, I mean, I do think I was a little young. 8 was young, but you don't want your child to go out unprepared. Yeah. Like, we're all black people. You would never let your child go out and not know that they are a black person and in this world and not prepare them for it. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm not a parent, but I think that translates into sexual health as well, because in this country, I think that's why there's so many porn things, there's so many sex addictions, because we just don't talk about it. It's this taboo thing that this little dirty secret that we have. But if we really talked about it and just like put it all on the table, I think we'd have a better, we'd be healthier about it. But also we could talk about like, because as a child, well, not as a child, but like as a teenager, I was really unhealthy. Like I told you guys, I had been to doctor after doctor after doctor, and it just didn't work for me. And I had zero sex drive in high school. Mm-hmm. Like I was just like, nah, I'm not interested. Even some part of college, like I was just like, I'm not interested. But it was more, and the thing that I love about my mother is that I was able to talk to her about that and be like, my libido is not non-existent. Yeah. And I know it should be existing, but it's not. And so then that started us going to different doctors and trying to figure it out. But if the lines of communication are open, then you just think you're that weird person who, you know, this dirty taboo thing, and you just start doing things that you don't even want to do, trying to fit in with people, as opposed to finding out what that root cause is, fixing that root cause. And it could be as simple as, I was eating the wrong foods. Yeah. It's oftentimes the simple things that we're doing that are making those big impacts. And if we could just adjust those things, then it'll have a really big impact on your cost and on your life.
Mm-hmm. Doc, Brittany.
Yeah.
It ain't working, Doc.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Doc.
Yeah. What we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
Stick a pen in my back.
Doc, we gonna either stick this pen.
All right.
Or we gonna.
So what I do is, so in Chinese medicine there's a lot of different diagnostic exams that we do, and they all involve looking at the body in different ways, because the body is always trying to communicate with us about what's going on with it. It just speaks a different language than us. So with me, both the doctors here have had an initial visit with me. I look at your ears, because your ears actually are very descriptive. There's a portion of your ear that is just reproductive, and if you touch that, yep.
I do have some sensitive ears.
Yep. I mean, no, you go, you heard the blowing in the ear and da, but you know,
you're like, I don't know if that's really true, but no, it is. It is. There's a portion of your ear, that little triangle portion of your ear is just your reproductive organs. And so if that's discolored, if that's painful to touch, that points to something going on reproductively, and you just have to rectify that. It's oftentimes not these really big, like not like the low testosterone. It's sometimes just simple things that you can do. But anyways, I do that. I look at your ears. Your tongue is also very descriptive on the sides of your tongue. Remember I was telling you that the liver in Chinese medicine controls your reproductive organs. Mm-hmm. On the sides of your tongue is the liver region of your tongue. So if anything looks out of the normal on those sides of your tongue, that points to something going on in your liver. That might point to some erectile dysfunction or low libido. Mm-hmm. Also, pressing on your belly lets you know a lot about what's going on. So there's a bunch of different ways you can figure out what's going on. And then from that, when we figure out what the root cause is, then we can address the root cause and the symptom of low libido or erectile dysfunction.
And that's what you want to do. You want to address the problem, the cause. See, the pills address the symptom.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does not address the cause, which is why you have to keep popping.
That's what I was going to say. So you have to keep going back to the pills and
absolutely.
everything.
And then all the while you're wreaking havoc on your liver, your kidneys, your heart.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if I'm a worst case scenario patient, what can we do to jumpstart this so I could possibly get back my sex life, and then go to being a preventive type of thing instead of how do I breathe life back in it, and then how do I keep it
You
going?
need CPR.
CPR.
Shock there.
30 pumps to the chest.
Yeah.
30 pumps to the chest.
Yeah.
Too risky.
Well, from a Chinese. Oh, go ahead.
I want to hear about the Chinese medicine. I know what doctor I'm gonna be. Let's give me.
From a Chinese medicine perspective, your body works in a priority system. So making sure your internal organs are functioning properly is primary concern to your body. Making sure you can reproduce is not that important in terms of keeping you alive. So even though your main concern may be erectile dysfunction or low libido or premature ejaculation, the root cause is always something more internally, and it's more important to fix that internal problem than it is to address the symptom. And go ahead.
Now you might think that me living is more important, but if
See?
I can't,
But you going back to what they said about you putting it all into your manhood.
Yeah, we gotta talk about
You put it all into your manhood, brother.
but if his thing ain't working,
Yeah, but your body.
You still
knows
alive. You
how-
still a man, even if you ain't got that thing. You still a man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got it, brother.
Your sense of worth isn't
hold
there.
on, I need to put my finger on
Just
the dump
because
button.
that thing don't.
I need to put my finger on the dump button. Shit. I mean, let's be real. I mean,
It's still good. It's still good, brother.
yeah, I'm still good to talk to.
Because there's going to be a time in life, I talked to my pops, right?
Yeah.
And I won't front, but I talked to my pops, and he's like 72, 73, and he talked to me. He said, "You know what? One day you're not even gonna care about it." He's like, "You're not gonna care about sex like that," and I was like, "I don't want to get that way." But now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to say that has to be a great life to actually be, to where you can actually just be with somebody and not just be with them because of sex is good or not think about sex. And it's like, because I think for most men, I'm not saying all, but for most men, every day, damn near every hour, you're thinking about sex. And to me, honestly, that's sort of like problematic. And maybe it's a society thing now. But I think that's kind of stressful and problematic because we think about sex so much in the first place.
But is it? I don't think that's just a man thing, though.
I've never been a woman, so I can't tell what I can't say what a woman.
I
Woman thinks about it every hour on God.
I've never been a woman, but I've had plenty of conversations. I have had a lot of conversations with women.
So women,
I think
y'all
thinking
feel
about
that way?
sex
Women
is a
think about it every
very
hour?
healthy thing. Am I wrong?
I mean, no, not at all. I mean, again, as Dr. Woodard was alluded to earlier, you want to be comfortable talking about these types of subjects. And I think what has happened is that, it has become a taboo subject when really it's not. So when people are thinking about it, they think that there's something wrong or they're abnormal, but that's not it at all. We as human beings, we all have a sex drive that's part of our existence. So it's not something that we should shy away from, but it's something to embrace and be able to talk openly about it, especially from a dysfunctional standpoint. If something is going wrong, you want to be able to effectively communicate, particularly to your healthcare provider, so that you can, as we've been talking about, get down to the root cause and resolve any issues you may have going on.
Yeah, and this is not, I think Dr. Woodard said earlier about a dirty little secret. It's funny that phrase is even said, because this is really not a secret. I mean, everybody, as you're alluding to, Will, thinks about it at some point. Now, to kind of get to what you were talking about your dad, and he's saying that you won't think about it like that. One reason could be is that if it's been, if you've had a dysfunctional sex life for a while, then why would you think about it? And so again, it just goes back to the preparation, like I said, and it's not just one thing to prepare. We were talking about KEGELS earlier, but it's what you're eating. Again, coming to see Dr. Williams and I, coming to see Dr. Woodard, it's the sum total of everything. You know, at Align for Life, we say you need proper chiro care, proper nutrition, proper exercise, and proper rest to make you a whole person. And when we say that, we are alluding to what the definition of health is. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, health is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, but it is the complete mental, physical, and social well-being of a person. So when you come in to see us, Dr. Williams and I, as well as Dr. Woodard, we're not just, we hear what you're saying, something wrong, erectile dysfunction, my back hurt, whatever. But we also know that it's other parts of that's involved too. Your lifestyle, your home life, all that stuff is involved, and it's the sum total. And so if you address one area and you don't kind of touch on others, then you kind of fail. I always make this analogy with patients, trying to get them to understand this. It's like when we go to school. We don't just take one class for a semester or a quarter. We take multiple classes, right? And so I'm pretty sure Star can really, because she's a teacher, she can really relate to this. If you have one subject that you make an A in, but you fail all the other subjects, you have failed that quarter semester. And that's what we do. We will concentrate on, we're talking about the erectile, we'll concentrate on the penis, right? But we forget about all the eating right, exercise, and all that. And so that's why you have to go back and pop those pills. That's why the sex life is not where it needs to be.
Okay.
Dr. Woodard, where do you fit in? Where do you fit into this whole holistic way of life? In care and preventive medicine, where do you fit? Like, if I had if these guys are my regular chiropractor, I'm going to see them regularly. Where would you fit in? How would I come into contact with you?
Oh, okay. So we actually share patients. So it's a thing that you can do where you can see a chiropractor. I was actually doing some research on chiropractic and acupuncture together, and it was, the article I was reading was saying that you should do them in tandem because you get better so much quicker. Because they are working on the muscular skeletal region, but I'm working on the soft tissue and nerves and blood vessel region. And so the combination of both of those together creates a whole package. So like Dr. like Dr. Fowler was saying, is that health isn't one aspect. There's a totality of it. So in acupuncture, we focus on not only the physical elements, but also the mental and emotional elements, because we don't exist in a vacuum, and there are things coming at us from all angles. And so what acupuncture does is it really helps to balance your body out mentally, physically, and emotionally. So with my patients, I give them affirmations because that's a mental emotional thing while they're laying on the table, getting their acupuncture. So I tie everything in. And then we do, on the second visit, I do this thing called an AcuGraph, which it scans all of your body and lets you know how well each of your internal channels are functioning. And then it tells us how much energy your body has versus how much energy your body's able to utilize. Because you might have a ton of energy, but if you can't utilize it, doesn't matter. It also shows you like where your major imbalance is located. And then it comes up with an eating plan for you to address all of those issues through food. Because like we were talking about, diet is incredibly important, because what you're putting in your body on a daily basis has to affect your health. Because the food that you're eating is literally the nutrients that goes to your cells. Then that nutrients then creates your energy. It creates your hormones. It creates everything in your body. So food has to matter. And so by that machine, by creating the meal plan for you, or the eating list for you, all the foods that you'll be eating are going to be medicinal for you. So you'll be eating your medicine, which is what you need to do anyway.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of taking all these supplements I'm taking now, they ain't doing a damn thing but making me sleepy.
Oh,
Food should be your medicine. Medicine should not be your food.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
right.
That makes sense. Even though it tastes terrible.
Oh
Oh my God, it does.
No,
Oh my
it doesn't
God.
have to. People always associate
Well,
healthy eating with like
well.
this is gonna be so bland, it's
Yeah.
gonna be so awful. But spices are also medicinal.
Cinnamon is
tastes
good
like
for you.
Yes,
Cinnamon is good for you.
great.
Turmeric is good for you.
Turmeric,
Yeah,
ginger.
absolutely. Ginger, all of those things.
Again, you just got to reach. See, we have been, and I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
We have been conditioned to like certain things,
True.
and those certain things, most of them are not healthy or good for us.
Yeah.
But because we have been taking it from the time you leave the womb, a lot of us we're eating this like cow's milk and all this other crap, this sugary
Sugar,
sodas,
caffeine,
yeah, all that
processed
stuff.
foods.
And so your taste buds have gotten used to that.
Yeah.
You just got to re-engineer or recondition your taste buds. That's all you have to
And
do.
that's
And
true.
even if you
I've been,
like
try-
sugar,
I've been
you
trying
do
that.
the natural sugar,
Yeah.
not the processed sugar.
I've been trying that, but it's like you can't find a healthy chocolate chip cookie that tastes like a bad for you chocolate chip cookie.
But the
I'm
thing
just
is,
saying.
the thing is that your
have
Have you had real chocolate?
Yes, I'm trying to have a chocolate chip cookie that tastes like a healthy chocolate chip cookie that tastes like a bad for you chocolate chip cookie.
I've had
You
some.
can't find that. I'm sorry. It
you
tastes
can.
like this is a healthy one.
No.
But the thing is that the more healthy you eat, your taste buds start to change. I think
Yeah.
that's what
That
Dr.
is
Fowler
true.
was trying to
That
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
And so then your cravings change, and so you may not want that chocolate chip cookie anymore. You may want things that are going to really sustain and support your body.
That's true.
Yeah.
You might want
That is
cacao instead of milk chocolate.
Because like right now I can't even like right now I don't have a taste for it. Like I just use chocolate chip cookies, but I really don't have a taste for a chocolate chip cookie now because of stuff that I'm starting to eat and trying to now change up. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I got that way with milk, just because I was like, I stopped buying cow's milk mainly because it went bad. Like I saw that I was doing soy for a while, and I was just like, I don't really know if I want to keep doing that. But then I moved into like the almond milks because they last longer. And I was like, hey, I don't have to buy you as much.
Right.
and I'm just healthy. It's
And,
just-
and I only use it for cereal, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
and I once
It's
I
the
finish with it,
process.
I'm like, I don't drink the milk, so
Right.
why am I spending all this money when it's
So
I can do the
Right.
same?
So we have a lot of proverbs that we talk about, right? Just in general. So one a proverb that I like to tell people when we talking about diets and stuff, and so that proverb goes as, if your diet is bad, medicine is of no use. So in other words, if you eating bad, I don't care how much medicine you take, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do.
You're right.
That's the
But
way
that proverb goes on to say, if your diet is good, then medicine
works
is of no need.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like Dr. Woodard was just saying,
Makes sense.
food is your medicine.
It makes
Yeah,
sense.
That's
and these
the-
are our ancestors that said this. Now,
Yeah.
That's the way I feel. Anytime you see the stereotypical person on TV or whatever that is hugely overweight, got all the food in front of him, and they get a Diet Coke. It's like, what is this doing for you?
isn't that what
It's gonna
clump?
solve-
What is it? Clump did?
That's all the problem. I'm trying. At least I'm taking it step by step.
But if you don't need the sweetener that's in Diet Coke, it will hurt you. Because like for
Yes.
me, I can't eat anything that has aspartame in it because it will. I will literally get sick. I need sugar in my system.
And the thing about that too, our bodies need sugar, our bodies need salt, all that stuff our bodies need fat. We just don't need it in the amount.
The amounts
Yeah.
that
and the
we get it in.
quantities that we're
Right.
getting it on a
Right.
daily basis.
Right.
And that's what I'm finding out more and more is about how much. Like it's that thing about how much are you supposed to take in of each thing every day. How much protein? How
Depends.
how many carbs? How many like
It is
vitamin? How many levels of
every
vitamin
person.
D?
Well, and a lot of that too depends on the physical and mental demands you're putting on your body.
Okay.
You know, like for me, you know, going through chiropractic school, we would have hours and hours and days of long study sessions and things of that nature, writing papers, doing research. Mental stress, it fatigues you. It makes you hungry. You know, all these different things. So we think just about the physical demands that we put on our bodies. We don't give enough credence to the mental demands that we put on our bodies.
Yeah.
So we have to feed our bodies what our bodies need. And as Dr. Woodard alluded to earlier, our bodies, you know, have a way of telling us
Yep.
what it needs, when it needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that. So the different cravings. So in Chinese medicine, we have different flavors that are associated with different channels. And so different cravings, like you were talking about sweets. Well, your body craving sweets from a Chinese medicine perspective is your spleen, the spleen channel, saying it needs nutrients because the spleen channel, the flavor that's associated with it is sweet. So your body's not craving chocolate chip cookies, your body's craving carrots, your body's craving sweet potatoes because there's nutrients in those foods that your body's missing, and the way your body's trying to communicate that is through the craving for that food that has those nutrients.
So do you? And I'm not
misinterpret it.
I'm not being a smart ass when I ask you this. So are you saying like if ever I have that craving for like a sweet, probably eat like a carrot or something like that? That's probably to curb that.
Yeah. So I tested that theory because I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And so, and I know like I have a spleen issue, and from a Chinese medicine perspective, and so I started buying applesauce, like the no sugar, just like the Mott's applesauce.
Yeah.
And my sweet craving was gone, and so I started just eating that instead of a cookie or instead of some cake, and then my sweet craving started to decrease, not because I was doing anything. It was just I gave my body the actual thing that it needed, and then it got the nutrients from the apples and from the fruits that I was eating. Then the deficiency was filled, and the sweet craving went away.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
I'll try that.
you think about and Dr. Woodard was just talking about the spleen. So what does the spleen do?
Clean everything.
Yeah, the spleen stores red blood cells.
Which is the one that doesn't do anything but is in you? Is it the gallbladder?
Everything
does.
Everybody,
I
everything,
Everything.
including the appendix.
The appendix.
Oh, that's what I'm
been-
thinking about. I think it's
yeah.
the appendix. They said it
We've been
does
brainwashed
Yes.
into believing that
Yes.
the appendix
Yes.
Stuff
is
just-
moot. It is not a moot organ.
God did not
They
put
just put
nothing in our
Bad
body
if it messes up.
that wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
Okay.
God didn't put anything in our body that wasn't supposed to be there. So the spleen stores red blood cells. The red blood cells carries oxygen.
Yep.
Oxygen is needed in every muscle in the body. If the penis is not getting oxygen, it ain't gonna work. I'm just taking it back to what we were talking about.
That makes sense.
Right on.
That makes sense. That's exactly what it
Dr.
is.
Brittany,
Yes.
where can you be found?
I have 2 locations now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am currently at the Iwi Fresh building at 1800 Jonesboro Road, on the 3rd floor,
Yes.
with the chiropractors.
Right next door.
Yeah, literally, we share a wall.
Yeah.
And then my new location is in downtown Decatur. We are having a grand opening June 5th.
June
If you
5th, okay.
can, come out. It's 242 Sycamore Street. We're gonna have food and music and a lot of other things and vendors. So at the new location, there's this style of acupuncture. It's called community acupuncture. And so what community acupuncture is it takes what would be a private session and you have multiple people in the room with you. And so the benefit of that is there's several benefits. One of the benefits is, I'm not sure how religious people are in here, but when 2 or more coming together,
Yes.
it magnifies, right?
Yes.
It's church.
Yeah.
Pass the plate. Pass the plate. Pass the plate.
So it magnifies the healing experience. So that's one of the benefits of community acupuncture, but also it decreases the cost because if there are 3 other people in the room with you, you guys can share the cost. So what it takes what would be like $100 or $120 treatment and makes it a $40 treatment. So that's a lot more affordable. And so for people who have really serious conditions or erectile dysfunction kind of conditions where they need to come in multiple times to really get that blood flowing, it makes it more accessible to them because most people can, come multiple times with $40 as opposed to come in multiple times a week paying $100. So decreased costs, increased healing capacity, and then it's also more accessible to you. So that's what we do at the Decatur office. That's opening June 5th. Please
Yes.
come out.
Please make sure you send those flyers so I can know.
What time?
I will
Share and
definitely.
blast everything.
It is from 12 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Docs, where y'all at again?
So we are also located at the Iwi Fresh Farm Oasis, 1800 Jonesboro Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30315. You can find us on the World Wide Web at www.eurofinespine.com. You can also find us on social media, all the major platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Aligned, ALIGNED, the number 4, Life, LIFE, or you can give us a call directly. The number is 404-383-1110.
Yes, and as we always say, if you want to be fine, take care of your spine.
I love y'all slogan.
Hey, y'all, just one score update. The Hawks did win 105.
And let me say something before we get off the air. Dr. Woodard was talking about not having the sex drive when she was in like high school, college, and all that. That's because her husband Chris hadn't made his move yet. That's all.
Hey, y'all know what time it is. About that time, we're gonna sweep these flows. We're gonna clean these clippers.
Oh, shout out one quick shout out. Shout out to Peachtree Ridge High School. My daughter graduates Sunday. All right. Proud Pappy. Oh my God. I'm about to cry. Sunday at 7:00. Oh, same time Hawks are playing. I love you, baby.
DVR.
Right.
All right, so I apologize, my brother. Let's go with it.
Hey, it's all good. Since you broke in and interrupted, the bathroom is yours.
Get out.
The shop is closed.
Same. Let's start right. We're talking